All right, man, let's check this out, dude. Some of these I think are really good, man. I think if you sneak attack this guy in, I think this jumbo Cactuar might actually see play. This is actually really funny. Some Cactuars live long lives and grow huge. The jumbo Cactuar is one of them. Like, you're never casting this guy. But if you sneak attack this guy into play, they're just dead. I could see it being in like a sneak attack deck or something like that. But I don't think you're ever going to cast this guy. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see it because, like, there's a lot of cards that just get rid of him, right? Like, you could counter him or you could, like, path him or, you know. But I think it's still good. I think it's funny. I think that the Jumbo Cactuar is very fitting for not only what it is in the game, but also transferring that to a Magic card. I think it's pretty good. I don't think there's a way to ninjutsu this guy in. I mean, maybe. But the thing is, I don't think ninjutsu would work. I would have to get the reading on 10,000 Needles, but how this reads to me, this is a check at the beginning of combat. Well, okay, what is fling? Because I don't think fling would work like how you would have to do this after it was declared attackers. So yeah, so you attack with it, trigger goes on the stack, the trigger resolves, because this is a trigger. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets this, right? Let's talk about the first thing, ninjutsu, that someone brought up. I don't think ninjutsu would work because it would skip the declare attacker's step. You can hardcast a landfall deck pretty easily. Well, right, but my point is that, like, you play this guy, right? And then he doesn't do anything when he comes into play. You know what I mean? Basically, for this guy to kill the opponent in one turn, you would need another card to do it. And one of those cards is Fling. Another one of those cards is Sneak Attack. You could cast this guy and then just attack, but they can block it with a 1/1. You know what I mean? Yeah, but you give him haste. Exactly. That's my point, is that this guy requires other stuff to be good. That's just my point. When you play this guy, the game isn't over because there's other stuff you have to do. Like, you have to declare attackers. And when you declare attackers, there's a lot of stuff that can get rid of this guy, like paths, swords. There's also a bunch of white cards like condemn and shit like that. I do think this card is pretty good. I think it might actually see some play. There's no way that you're going to live through this much HP. I mean, unless you have an infinite life loop, you know, and in that case, you're going to win anyway. But yeah, I think this guy's pretty good. I also think that they transferred the Final Fantasy lore to card very well. Sin's Spear is punishment. Flying. Okay, he costs a shit ton. Whenever Sin attacks, enters or attacks. Okay. Exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random. Okay. And create a tap token that's a copy of that card. If the exile card is a land, repeat this process. Huh. What you could do with this guy, you could put this guy in like a lands deck, and you could essentially mill like half your deck and then reanimate this guy. And when you do, you're going to basically put all your lands into play. And then you could probably combo off your lands. Like, there's one land that copies a permanent in your graveyard. Well, let's say you have another one of him in your graveyard. So you copy that and you do it all over again. I think this guy has potential. Like, I don't think you're ever hard casting this. You're never hard casting this, or I highly doubt it. I think this guy might see some play, though. So what I'm thinking is this could just be like an alternate win con from lands. So when you have a lands deck, because like right now lands is pretty sick. It uses like Dark Depths and the fucking Hex Mage, right? Well, this could be an alternate win con to something like that. Because I mean, a 7/7 flying is still pretty good. And when you're playing a lands deck, you're probably going to be able to hardcast this because lands is a prison deck. So you're not winning anytime soon. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. I'm just saying, like, of the possibilities. Another thing is you could, like, reanimate this guy. Oh, you know what? You could play, like, red-black Reanimator. Yeah, so you could reanimate this guy and then get back other creatures, too. Because if it targets a land, you just repeat the process. So you could put in, like, I don't know, like this guy with, like, Gristlebrand, or this guy with, like, Sire of Insanity, or some nasty fucking creature. Well, no, you could guarantee it. Yeah, you could definitely guarantee it. So let's say you have, like, Faithless Looting, right? So let's say you do Faithless Looting. So you draw and you draw. And you discard a mana and, I don't know, something else. And basically you have nothing but lands and creatures in your graveyard, right? Let's say you have like 3 lands and like this guy plus Gristlebrand plus Sire of Insanity. Okay, so you play this guy. He comes into play. A land card is chosen at random. So you put the land card in, then you do it again. Now another land card is chosen. So you put that card in. Okay, you do it again. Now Gristlebrand is chosen. I feel like you could definitely set this up. I guess what I'm thinking about is to what end. So basically this is like a free 7/7 flying in a game that you're probably already going to win. Or alternatively, you could do this, right? Let's just take Timeless. So let's say that your like opening hand is like Sin plus like Reanimate plus Faithless Looting plus like fucking that's that stupid vampire bitch Alindra. Okay, Saint Alindra. You discard like those two, and then you reanimate Sin. You know what? It might actually be better to reanimate Sin than Alindra, because Alindra costs 8, I think. And Sin costs 7. I don't know. They might both cost 7. I can't actually remember. But you reanimate Sin, and then you get back Alindra, so that's pretty sick. Basically, this guy gives you a free 7/7. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like a win more. I think this guy might see some play. I think so, because getting a free 7/7 flying is no joke. Like, they have to deal with it. I think this guy's okay. I don't think he's like the best reanimate target, but he's definitely pretty good. But his ability is interesting. Anyway, Tonberry. This creature enters tapped with a stun counter. Okay. Chef's Knife. During your turn, this creature has first strike and death touch. Okay. For 1 black? I mean, that's okay. A Salamander Horror. I think they did a good job on transferring what he does. Because in the game, he's like really slow. So I can see how like putting a stun counter on it kind of makes sense, I guess. But the first strike death touch is really funny. They should have added like 2 mana and added the clause, if this does damage to a player, that player loses the game. You know, like Flasia Untouchable. So the first strike death touch is only on your turn. I think for 1 mana uncommon is pretty decent. This will definitely be seen in limited. Stiltzkin, Moogle Merchant. Lifelink. Wow, that's weird. They don't have flying. Huh, that's weird. I think it should have flying, but... Or maybe this isn't the one that flies. Ah, fuck, I don't know. Anyway. Target opponent gains control of another target permanent you control. If they do, you draw a card. Okay, so it's weird. I don't think it'll see very much play, if any, but there is stuff you can combo with this. There are permanents that make you lose the game. So there's one, it's called like Liliana's Pact or something. It has like 4 clauses on it. And it's like at the beginning of your upkeep, you either draw 2 cards, deal 2 damage, there's something else, and then your last one is lose the game. So you could actually play that enchantment, get a couple things off of it, and then right before it's your turn to lose the game, you give it to your opponent, and they have to lose the game. But that like takes so much setup, man. That takes so much setup, and this creature by himself kind of sucks. I mean, like, what are you going to do? Give him, like, a treasure token or something? Like, I don't know. This ability seems really bad unless you abuse it. Saz Chocobo. Whenever a land, you can... Oh, landfall. Okay. Oh, wow. For 1 mana? Yo, I bet this... Yo, this guy could be kind of ridiculous, actually. This guy's like a cheaper Bristly Bill. I don't think that's bad. That's a pretty decent uncommon. Costs 1 mana. Dude, can you imagine getting beat down by a 10/11 Chocobo? I mean, that's cool. I kind of like this card. I think this will see some play. Definitely a limited. It's a pretty good limited card, I would say. Garland. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. Okay, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield transformed. Holy shit. 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy fuck. Okay. It's a 3/2. So basically, this is a shitty Dragon Rage channeler. What does Dragon Rage do again? There's actually a fucking card called Of course there is. Oh, it's Dragon's Rage. Okay, okay. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. Yeah, so this is just a shitty Dragon Rage channeler. Okay. I don't know. I think this card's kind of bad. You would never play this over Dragon Rage channeler. And then its flip ability is, like, who cares? It's a 5/5 flyer. Dude, it's a 5/5 flyer for 7 mana. Yeah, that's shitty. Oh, Cecil. Okay, Dark Knight. Death Touch. Whenever Cecil... Oh, wow, it's a 2/3 for 1? Okay. Holy shit. That's a lot of ass power for 1 mana. Whenever Cecil deals damage, you lose that much life. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total... Okay, so 9. Or 10, I guess. 9 or 10. Okay, you flip it. Lifelink Protect. Whenever Cecil attacks, other attacking creatures gain in... I'm trying to think of what deck could this be in. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I like this part. I think this part would be pretty decent in a Death Shadow deck. I don't know how I feel about this guy, man. Like, what is it trying to do? What decks could this be in? I mean, this could be in, like, maybe a Mardu deck. Like, recently Like, Mardu's pretty good in Timeless. I mean, aggro, right, but, okay, so what aggro deck is it trying to be in? Because it's not trying to be in, like, I don't know, it might be okay in, like, Death Shadow or Tempo, but, like, you're not going to run this in Mardu, right? Because there's better 1-drops, because there's the Guided Souls, there's that fucking cat, whatever that cat's called. Like, I don't know, man. Unless there's a newer deck that I'm not familiar with, which could definitely be the case. I don't think it's a bad card. I mean, I guess one of the only things it could be in is like aggro, right? I mean, you're not going to use this in a control deck. Okay, all right. So 3 mana for 2/4 with Vigilance. That's already good. Whenever Emet-Selch enters or attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay, that's Awesome. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 14 or more cards in your graveyard, you may transform Emmet. During your turn, you may play cards from your graveyard. Okay, so Emmet is actually insane. Okay, wow. This is ridiculous. This is very good. Can you play lands with this flip? Yes. This is insane, actually. This is a very good card. Holy shit. If you flip this guy, like, the first half is already good. 3 mana for a 2/4. It's like kind of hard to kill, right? Because like lightning bolt's not going to kill it. You can't kill it with a card that destroys like, you know, non-black cards. Fatal push, you have to trigger the thing for it to work. And this guy draws you cards. Well, okay, correction. He loots for you. I think this card is really fucking good. The mana cost being 3 is not too high either. And he's got a 4 on the ass. Dude, why is his ass so thick? What the fuck? No, I think this card is insane. If you flip this guy, you can play all your cards from your graveyard. That means lands, artifacts. That's insane, actually. For those of you that don't know, there's a really powerful magic card called Yawgmoth's Will, and it does this. Costs 3 mana, a black and 2 colorless, and until the end of turn, you can play cards from your graveyard as though they were in your hand. This is very good. You could essentially do this the turn after you play him. I think this guy will be really good. How good will this guy be? I don't know. This guy will definitely see play, in my opinion. They did our boy Emmet well. They did him good, man. Because this is the best fucking magic card of the set so far that I've seen. Yeah, this is really good. This may even see play in some older formats like Legacy. Maybe. Oh, yeah, the art is insane, man. This art right here. I mean, like, this art over here is okay. It's pretty cool. I mean, it looks like the game, but this art right here is absolutely phenomenal. Side quest, catch a fish. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's an artifact or creature card, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. Okay. If you put a card in your hand this way, create a food token and transform this enchantment. Add white, sacrifice an artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. What deck would you play this in? Because I don't think you would play this in an artifact deck. And I don't think you would play this in like white weenie or like white aggro because it's just too slow. I don't know what type. I mean, there's probably a deck you could play this in. Whenever I say like a deck you'd play this in, I'm mostly talking about like competitive Magic. I'm not talking about any like homebrew, like, you know, just back table bullshit, because you could play any card in that. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I just don't see any deck. You're not like, I don't think you're going to play this in white weenie. I don't think you're going to play this in artifact. I think this card is trying to be in white weenie though because of this right here. Like some type of death and taxes type deck, but I don't think you're going to play it in like that. I'm not too familiar with standard. Standard rotates too much, man. I typically won't keep up with standard near as much as I will like legacy or like modern. So maybe this is a standard card, yeah. But it's also an uncommon, so it's not supposed to be like super crazy good. But I don't think it's bad though. I think its effect is kind of cool. Oh, this is just another. Okay. Ooh, okay. Summon Shiva. This is an enchantment creature. Okay. So a 4/5 for 5. Tap target creature an opponent controls. Put a stun counter on it. Okay, so you do that for 2 turns. Diamond Dust. Draw a card for each tapped creature your opponents control. I don't think this is very good. Oh, yeah. The idea of the summon card is to make them like summons. Yeah. No, I think that part's cool. I'm thinking about the ability. You pay 5 mana for this? 5? I feel like there's so much better things you could be doing with 5 mana. I don't know. I don't think Shiva's that good. And even the payoff, right? What do you draw? Like 2 or 3 cards? Like what, 3 turns later? So you get to attack with this thing once. Or no, twice. As this saga enters and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you only get to attack with it once. So you're essentially paying 5 mana to stall the game. You know what would have made this better, man? Is if it was tap target permanent and opponent controls. That would have been a lot better than creature. I don't know. I don't think it's very good. Yeah, it's probably a draft limited. Wait, is there a 5 mana enchantment in standard? Okay, so standard's power level is like not near as high as say modern or legacy, right? And I don't really follow standard too much. So a lot of my opinion is going to be based on non-standard. A lot of my opinions are probably going to be like wrong when it comes to standard. I personally don't care for standard very much because I like doing crazy shit in Magic. I don't like just like playing a creature and attacking and then that's it. I like doing, like, I like a lot of different decks and I like doing a lot of different stuff. Standard sometimes has that, like different combo decks, and I'm not saying that the standard doesn't, but typically standard is just like, it's very like simple shit, or at least it has been in the past. And a lot of the cards I like to use or I like to, you know, play with are in Legacy, Vintage, and Modern. So yeah, this might be good in Standard, but I think this card kind of sucks. Dragon of Mount Golg. Flying. Whatever this creature deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You create any... Holy fuck. I mean, I think this guy kind of sucks. But it's funny. Imagine creating 20 treasure tokens. That's just kind of fun. I think this guy kind of sucks, though. He's a 6/5 flying. He doesn't have haste. Shitty reanimate. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that mana's value. Okay, I think that's pretty good, dude. Run like a Chocobo, stab like a Tonberry. I think this card's pretty good. Oh, Eureka. Okay. I've never heard of this card. Oh, so they did. Okay, so this actually isn't a new card. They just like renamed. Oh, that's kind of lame. Why would they do that? That's so stupid. Yeah, Mount Golg is another version of D20. I mean, I think this card's pretty good. Whoever the fuck Yuriko is pretty good. Does this commander ninjutsu mean that you can ninjutsu him in from the commander zone? I would imagine. Yeah, that's sick. That's fucking sick. This is a good card. Okay, Cloud. Haste. When Cloud enters, attach up to one target. Okay, so we already saw this the other day. Whenever Cloud attacks, draw a card for each equipped attacking creature you control. Then if Cloud has power 7 or greater. Okay, I don't think he's bad. He just costs a lot of fucking mana. But he's in the right colors for ramp. So, like, what were they thinking behind this? You give it, like, a sword of fire and ice? Oh, you know what? They're probably going to print the Buster Sword, yeah. Yo, you could also give it that hammer. Yeah, this thing. The Colossus Hammer. Yeah, look at this shit, man. For 1 mana, +10/+10. Yeah, that would be sick. Holy shit, that'd be a 14/14 Cloud X Soldier with haste. I mean, that'd be kind of sick. Oh, the Buster Sword will be confirmed in there. Yeah, so the Buster Sword will probably go with this card then. You could also put a sword on him too, because sword is +3/+3. So like there's like all these different swords. Sword of Body and Mind, Sword of Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice, Forge and Frontier. You know, you could give him one of these and they all give... oh, it's not +3, it's +2. Okay, so yeah, it wouldn't work. Okay. Well, I mean, you could still do it. So basically, you could still do it. You just wouldn't get the creature tokens. Okay, so then if Cloud has power 7 or greater, so because it's 7 or greater, we can assume that the Buster Sword is going to give you +3 power. If the Buster Sword doesn't give you +3 power, then that's fucking stupid. Yeah, I think he's okay. He costs a lot of mana though, 5. I mean, I guess he's a 4/4 with haste. He might not be too bad. Maybe like run 1 or 2 of him. Maybe. Tidus. Yeah, we saw this the other day. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may move a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal counters on them, deal combat damage to a player, may draw a card. Yeah, he sucks, man. Yeah, Tidus is pretty bad. Any card that lets you like move counters and shit is always super questionable. I don't know, man. I think he sucks. He dies to like everything in the format. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. At the beginning of combat on your turn, mill 2 cards. Terra gains flying until end of turn. Whenever Terra deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2. When you do, return target creature card with power 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Okay, so I don't think that she's good, but I don't think she's bad. She's one of the better cards. The problem I see here is that you still have to pay the 2. So it's like essentially you're paying 2 mana. So like you're basically saving mana, like saving like 1 mana. I think they should have done something different with Terra. It's worse Alesha who smiles at death. Oh. No, I think it is worse. Yeah, because it's whenever she attacks. And this is Terra has to deal combat damage to a player. That's why they gave her flying. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I mean, okay. I think that the card itself is not bad. Like, I think it's decent. But the thing I don't like about this the most is I don't like how they translated this to Magic. So like what I think that they should have done, they should have made Terra a flip card. Because, okay, for those of you that have never played Final Fantasy VI, Terra is half Esper, which is half summon. So she had a human mother and a summon father. So she can basically turn into a summon. She has like a Super Saiyan mode. Okay. So what I think they should have done is on one side, they should have had this. And you know that card Thing in the Ice? Here, hold on. For those of you that don't know, like Thing in the Ice. Okay, so this card right here. So like read this card. This creature enters with 4 ice counters on it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, remove an ice counter from this creature. Then if it has no counters, transform it. So, and then after you transform this fucking thing, it turns into a 7/8 Kraken Horror. When this creature transforms, return all non-horror creatures to their owner's hands. I feel like that Terra should have worked in the same way. Like she should have had her human form, and then after you do something, it could be like after you cast X amount of spells or attack or something, right? Probably cast X amount of spells. She would transform. And then when she transforms into her Esper form, that would be the other side of the flip card. And she would have some effect, you know, like some explosive effect when she transforms. I think that would have been way fucking cooler than this like ghetto necromancer shit. Because like this doesn't make sense. Like in the game, she wasn't a necromancer. Oh, this is specifically the commander version. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe if they reprint like the non-commander version. As a commander, though, I still don't think that that's a fitting effect. And I don't know if I agree with her colors. Mardu? Really? She's not blue at all? That's weird. When I think of Terra, I don't think of Mardu. I definitely think of blue. But I don't know. I guess that's like kind of subjective, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think card's okay, but the mana cost kind of sucks. Okay, we saw this the other day too. Y'shtola, Vigilance. At the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you draw a card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Y'shtola deals 2 damage to each opponent and gain 2 life. Okay, I think that Y'shtola is pretty decent. So the colors that she's in for the effect that she gives is pretty good. I feel like a 2/4. She's got a thick ass, right? She also has Vigilance, which is good. But the thing is like, you can just sit behind Y'shtola and just kill your opponent. Like, you don't even have to attack, really, because you can just keep casting, like, non-creature spells and just keep draining them for 2. Even though she's a creature, she's like an alternate win condition versus attacking, because you don't even have to attack to beat your opponent. You could just keep, like, you know, casting spells. I think she's pretty decent. I don't know how much play she'll see, but I think she's pretty decent, especially for the colors that she's in. Sephiroth's Planet's Heir. Vigilance. Okay, so we cost 6 mana. Yeah, you're never casting that in those colors. When Sephiroth enters, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies. Okay, so this is like Meat Hook Massacre, kind of, with like what's that, Harbinger of Sorrow, kind of? I mean, he's okay, I guess. Is that what he is? Just a shitty massacre worm? I think he is. I think he's a shitty massacre worm. I don't think so. I'd rather kill your opponent because massacre worm ends the game on the spot. This guy is anti-creature decks. Whereas Sephiroth, I mean, I guess he is too. But the difference is, because they both cost 6, right? Yeah, so the difference is Massacre wins you the game versus Sephiroth, you just have a big creature that they can block. Like, he doesn't have trample. I think I'd rather have a Massacre worm. I don't know. Yeah, I think he's a shitty Massacre worm. Okay, so let's say you kill 10 creatures. Okay, so now he's a 14/14. Okay, and what happens when they play like a couple little dudes? You know, just chump blockers. You know what I mean? No, I actually love Massacre Worm. It's one of my favorite creatures. Yeah, but that's the thing. The Dimir Flicker also works with Massacre. And actually, it would be better if it worked with not... You know what? Flickering this guy would be bad because, like, when you flicker him, you lose all the counters. You know what else, too, is Loss of Life gets around stupid shit like Stuffy Doll and stuff that makes it to where your opponent can't take damage because Loss of Life is different. It goes through damage. I guess if that makes sense. Sephiroth can be a commander. Well, yeah, but I mean, dude, there's so many better blue-black commanders than Sephiroth. I don't know. Like I said, I think like a lot of my knowledge is coming from non-back table decks. And when I say back table decks, I don't mean fun decks. I mean like competitive decks. So if you just want to have Sephiroth as your commander, that's completely fine. It's just in a competitive atmosphere, I don't think it's going to be very good. And wait, yo, can't you have Emmet as a commander? Yeah, can't you have Emmet as a commander? Yeah, why the fuck would you ever have Sephiroth when you could have Emmet? What the fuck? Bro, no, dude, Sephiroth's not even playable. It's a shitty Massacre Worm. That's all Sephiroth is. That kind of sucks. Okay, Cloud Planet's Champion. During your turn, as long as Cloud is equipped, it has double strike and indestructible. Equip abilities you activate the target Cloud cost 2. Why do they keep giving Cloud like equipment? I mean, if they print like Barrett or somebody, are they going to give him equipment too? I think it would have been cool if Emmett would have been a Planeswalker, yeah. Oh, it's a starter deck? Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get why they made Sephiroth like this. I get why they did this, you know, because I would say a lot of people, they don't play at a competitive level and they're just going to see this and be like, holy shit, Sephiroth versus Cloud, this is sick. And they're going to have some fun, you know, and that's completely fine. I'm not talking about that, man. If you want to have fun, then that's awesome, like good. But like I said, guys, my opinion is coming from a competitive format. I'm not shitting on these cards. I'm just telling you how it is. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, he's just a shitty Massacre Worm. I mean, but it is cool that they put, you know, Cloud versus Sephiroth. That is cool. I get why they did it. Okay, but anyway, I don't know. Cloud's kind of bad too. I guess this Cloud's kind of bad. I don't know. Man, 5 mana? 5 mana? That's so much. He doesn't even have haste. I mean, I guess you put the hammer on him and he deals like 28 damage. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what I'm thinking is like he's kind of slow. He costs 5 mana. You can't really ramp too easily in Boros. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like either one of these two. I would never use them. Oh, was that it? Or did you say there's a refresh? Baldacante, Baldo's Elegance, Menace, Ward, pay 3 life, Blazing Cape. Well, hold on. Let's talk about this mana cost first. 6 mana, bro. Whenever Baldo's Elegance becomes tapped, deal 3 damage to any target and gain 3 life. Okay. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, they lose 2 life and you... Holy shit. Okay. Infernal Rebirth. When Baldacante dies, you may exile him. If you do, return him to the battlefield tapped at the beginning of your next upkeep. And each opponent... Holy shit. Yo, I'm actually kind of sick. Okay. I mean, that's not bad. Yo, you could reanimate this guy. Yo, that's not bad. Yo, okay. Yeah, some of these were good. I think my favorite, though, was Emmett. I think this card actually fucks. I think this card is going to be pretty fucking good. But I don't know, man. I'm retired when it comes to Magic, dude. I've top 8'd some events before. I used to be like 4th in the state of Indiana. I used to be pretty good. I think I'm still okay now, but I'm definitely not as good as I used to be. I'm mostly retired. I'm really glad that they made this card pretty good. Hopefully Terra's card will be a flip card. There's some of these cards that are just shitty, though. I feel like Cloud should have just been like... He just should have been a value creature. Like, he should have been a red and a white with, like, I don't know, first strike and be a 3/2. And, like, maybe had an ability that... I don't know, something that like deals extra damage. Like Cloud should have been like an aggro card, I guess, like a cheap aggro card, I feel. They tried to make Cloud like super important by upping his mana cost and giving him like abilities and shit. And it's just like, whenever you do that, man, you're not going to see, like they're not going to see play, man. Oh, there's another Cloud for... Okay. He has 3 versions. Okay. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.